Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi. My name is SHAZWAN bin ZAINI. I am from Group 3, and our group will be presenting about Uber technologies, managing challenges and opportunities. First of all, let me introduce about Uber. Okay, Uber Technologies is an American multinational online transportation network company headquartered in San Francisco, California. It develops, markets, and operates the Uber mobile app, which allows consumers with smartphones to submit a trip request, which is then routed to Uber drivers who use their own cars. However, nowadays, Uber has been subjected to many lawsuits and ethical issues. The following are a few of the ethical issues which are highlighted. First is passenger safety. Second, security of drivers. Third, privacy. False recruitment and unethical conduct of employees, and lastly, unethical leadership of Uber. Our next colleague, Muhammad AIZAT, will be presenting about the ethical challenges that Uber face in using app-based peer-to-peer sharing technologies.
Uber is a startup company that built application for e-hailing service, and the startup was founded by Travis Kalanick and Gary Kang. Uber operation became a huge impact and expanded around the world. However, their rapid success have created a lot of ethical tension, especially on the ethical challenge in app based on peer-to-peer sharing technology, including fairness, financial misconduct, and safety privacy. First, we look at the fairness. We all know that the driver is independent contractor where they have their own money to pay their own resources such as car, mobile phone, and the mobile data. Unlike the other company, mostly they are providing the special allowance for their employee. But in Uber, this allowance is not provided to the drivers. All of it is borne by driver. Secondly, we look at the financial misconduct. We know that Uber also give a lowest or cheap fare to the passenger, and these choices make a driver lose or not get any profit. And lastly, on the safety privacy, we know that the Uber is create the application from a mobile apps. However, as a customer, we have to know that where is the data is keeping. Is it safe enough? Because right now the cyber attack is become a trending. So we must avoid any hacker on this.
Next, let's talk about the risks that Uber need to face in order to become ethical successful. As Uber provides services to the community by using drivers, providing reliable transport mechanism, and boosting the city's economy, Uber is also popular for being criticized for scandals, from arguably unethical business strategies to taking over the taxis business and now to sexual assaults allegation. To build more sustainable business ethics and practice, Uber needs to face risks and overcome them and view challenges as opportunities for them to grow. One of the risks is improving the quality of service. By fixing a policy and regulatory standpoint with Uber's wide available products and services, the company should give higher priority to upgrading the quality of service delivery and customer satisfaction. The appropriate practice of ethical behavior should be encouraged among its employees and customers, as in a way to sustain Uber's business for a longer period. As Uber expands its business internationally, strategic partnership with local authorities and firms is important for the company to fully utilize the resources and domestic cooperation with the country's culture and law. In Malaysia, Uber with Land Public Transport Commission (SPAT) is taking a more pragmatic approach and is open to allowing Uber service as long as the services are provided by appropriately licensed vehicles and drivers. Apart from that, Uber also needs to have a close relationship and use technologies and data. Examples of Uber's successful strategic partnership are with Time Internet, a digital arm of the Times of India group to support Uber's expansion in India.
There are many similar ride-hailing services that have similar business model like Uber. Therefore, price war is one of the risks that Uber needs to overcome in order to penetrate the market share. There will be intense price competition between two or more competitors. Uber needs to have an attractive price in order to attract their users to choose them over other competitors. Uber must also be cautious when it comes to fares because Uber's main selling point is that it is less expensive than a cab. Uber's fare will not be as competitive as a taxi charges if they raise their cost too much, resulting in many customers returning to taxis as their preferred means of transportation. Uber must also be cautious with its surge pricing. Surge pricing occurs when Uber fare pricing is triple, even quadruple on specific days such as holidays. Uber may lose consumers if it employs the surge pricing function too frequently. Besides that, misleading advertisement is one of the risks that Uber needs to overcome related to promotional activities. Like all companies, Uber uses buzz marketing strategies in order to attract users. However, Uber needs to ensure that their advertisement is something that they can deliver. Deceptive advertising practices take customers away from their service and therefore leading to economic harm. As technology advances, business operates through technology. Uber is a technology that connects riders and drivers through an app. In customer view, Uber is easy to access rather than a taxi, thus it promotes a high level of user convenience. However, there is a risk that this Uber app is used by criminals. As stated by Uber, it administers certain qualification process for users, but it may not expose all potential relevant information. Uber stated that it cannot control and predict the action of platform users and third parties. This action may risk Uber reputation, business interruption, and significant liabilities as well as might result in injuries, property damage, or loss of life for consumers and third parties. Lastly, the risk that Uber needs to overcome is that social media. In this modern era, digital technology has become essential to one's life. Thus, social media has become the platform for people to share not just beneficial information to promote a product, but sometimes it can degrade a highly reputational brand with just a single share. For instance, in 2017, Uber received a high degree of negative media coverage around the world which affected Uber's brand reputation due to a campaign. The hashtag Delete Uber campaign has caused a mass of people to destroy the brand in days. Not just that, an employee had jeopardized the brand even more when a blog post was circulated stating that Uber has a toxic work culture.
Involved in three aspects, which is the terms of competitors' advantage on the taxi lobbies restrictions and other restrictions that being applied to other competitors, and second on the proper safety standards, and third on the prices. The first of all, as for the unfair advantage on the competitors, which is the taxi lobbies are also pressuring the local governments to block Uber in many cities, and because they claim that Uber hurts their businesses and has an unfair advantage as Uber drivers are not subjected to the same restriction as them in terms of mainly on the licensed taxi drivers. Certain cities have acted against Uber on this term and issuing cease and desist orders, which is Uber faces legal action because their drivers are not licensed. Rider and driver safety, protection and security of customers and driver information, and lack of adequate insurance coverage. So in this on this term, Uber must provide actually complete information and details about their drivers. So the second one, in terms of unfair competitive advantage in terms of proper safety standards, because to re-establish its reputation for safety, Uber actually has added a certain safe ride checklist to its app, which is a pickup notification that encourages riders to confirm the license plate number and verify their driver's name and appearances before entering the vehicle. So this makes to protect the competitors and the consumers as well. And if there are no certain restrictions or regulations being imposed, actually Uber and other such businesses may join to establish rates so high that they are going to force out smaller businesses without consideration for the impact on customers and or market competition. So this is on terms of prices. On this term, consumers also can benefit from regulation because if it guarantees that service providers follow certain guidelines, taxi fares and also working hours are officially regulated by the authorities, which is the company which is private can change their fares anytime and harm other competitors. So consumers and the competitors may also benefit from regulation that that being imposed on certain fares and also prices.
Apart from protecting competitor, regulation to protect consumer also are very important to prevent Uber from taking advantage of consumer. Among the proposed regulation is consumer accident protection. The government needs to ensure that Uber give the accident protection for user because accident can occur while using the e-hailing service. In addition, the safety of user while using Uber and other e-hailing service need to be taken into account. Uber needs to provide security guarantee to the user of the service. As you know, some Uber drivers are private individuals who are not professional. Anyone is welcome to join and drive with Uber. The third one is rule of service pricing should be taken into account to protect consumer from being deceived by e-hailing driver or the system itself. Therefore, government needs to monitor Uber and set a reasonable price for the service so that e-hailing does not take the opportunity to charge excessive fees for the service. The best example of regulation of e-hailing service is in Malaysia. The government has stipulated that every e-hailing driver need to have a public service vehicle license, PSV license, and it needs to be renewed annually. During the process of obtaining inspection the PSV license, the driver background will be checked. In addition, the vehicle will be inspected by the computerized vehicle inspection center Puspacom to ensure that it is suitable for the e-hail vehicle. Because consumers prefer Uber to taxi, any legislation should ensure that the consumer experience is secure and protected through promoting safety. Following effective regulation of safety concern, free market competition will be able to regulate any remaining issue.
Ethical behavior should be fostered among its personnel. Business ethics is important for Uber because to running the business with ethics is essential to promote company-wide integrity among employees. Next, this is a help to gain trust from the stakeholder. So how Uber approached the ethical issue that they have facing? So the challenge was they have to balance between driver safety and customer privacy. So Uber came up with an idea to introduce an audio recording features and enhancing ride check nationwide. This is to detect possible crash and unusually long stop using GPS data and sensor in driver's smartphone. In 2017, Uber faced an issue where their data pertaining 57 million riders worldwide have been stolen by the hackers. So, Uber immediately acted based on the recommendation by Privacy Commissioner. They have to prepare data retention and destruction policy, followed by an establishment of security program. Training related also be given to the staff to boost their skill and knowledge regarding this matter. A core component of ethics and compliance program is to encourage all employees to stand up and speak up. To show their commitment in sustainability program, Uber committed to support Green Future Program 2025 in
Uber should implement a plan that incorporates the 6 fast rules of thumb for conducting business across culture. They must be prepared, mindful of time and build trust, recognize the significance of the language and respect the culture, and know their customer is just as vital across the globe as it on their own town. Uber should have not used aggressive method to get into the business. Instead, Uber should spend the few first months of the business building a strong relationship with the union across the country. Uber will have more success if they apply for a license to operate in a certain country instead of simply entering and then ultimately finding out that they were conducting business illegally. Uber should follow the global strategic planning process rather than attempting to handle everything on their own. Instead of withdrawing from the nation that already have a major edge over Uber because of their existing taxi firm inside the local country, they should instead attempt to work together with their local competitor. Uber global expansion was based on the local-to-local approach. Different markets have a different feature. Example can be seen at the Uber Chopper in Shanghai, Uber Boats in Istanbul, and Uber Auto in New Delhi, India. Localization is the key, and the flexibility are the feature their marketing strategy. True to its nature of sustaining innovation and its focus to expand globally by upgrading the network and functionality, Uber also have an important ethical responsibility to ensure that the riders safely arrive from the point A to point B. Uber has to overcome several difficult challenges on its route to become the global corporation. Inability to plan, failure to meet a local market and goals, failure to learn from the past failure are the issues that arise as a consequence of the international expansion. Uber must respect and consider the economic, political, and cultural condition of each country in which it operates.
The four themes are the strategies Uber drivers use to enhance competitive advantage for their increased profit and incomes. The themes include technologies, surge pricing and profitable trips, flexible working hours, and customer service and relation. The actions are based on the supporting elements of each strategy. These strategies could help boost investors in the transportation and taxi industry, provide employment in the industry to serve the growing population, and provide a comprehensive service benefiting numerous social groups through an increase in tax service. To summarize, Uber has to overcome several difficult challenges on its route to become a global corporation. Inability to plan, failure to meet local market goals, and failure to learn from past failures are all issues that arise as a consequence of international expansion. Uber must respect and consider the economic, political, and cultural conditions of each country in which it operates. Also, providing customization to local markets is a costly process needing considerable financial support and mind share from the top executive, so the requirement for a truly thought-out plan for global development is required. Their objective is to remain number one among worldwide ride-hailing firms, but with all of competition and obstacles in today's globe, they risk losing this sustainability if a new strategy planning direction is not wished.